Sumit, first, before we go on to stocks, what is your view on the market after today's correction? You feel the downside chances have increased much more?
Hi, good afternoon, Pankaj. Well, yes, absolutely. I think Nifty is taking resistance at around 8200 levels. So now, till the time 8200 levels are not taken away convincingly, there is a possibility that we might see some selling pressure at higher levels. Now, looking at the support levels, if Nifty is able to break 8060, 8070 levels on lower side, then there is a possibility that we might see a sell-off in Nifty, in which we can test levels of around 7920, which were the immediate lows from where we have seen pullback, and there is a possibility that this time if 7920 is taken away, then we can see fall till 7800 levels also. So overall, till the time Nifty does not break and give close above 8200 convincingly, I think on high side we will see selling pressure, and on downside we will test levels of around 7920 again. So for a shorter term time horizon, on higher side one can initiate sell position.
Right. Sharmila, in terms of some stocks, would you go with pharma, IT names? Because they don't get impacted so much by the cash economy. Of course, most of their businesses comes from out of India. And sometimes, pharma becomes a need also much more than anything else. Even IT, for that matter, for a lot of companies is a need.
Absolutely. And I think that what you're hearing about the BFSI segment, etc., the recovery there, could bode well for the IT sector. I think for them, for IT sector, the main worry point is really how the new government in US plans to take things forward, and that clarity will come, I think, in the next month or so, because typically, January is when companies there start talking of budgets, etc., for the year. So by maybe by March, that quarter sort of you start hearing how managements are really perceiving the year ahead for them in the US. But that said, I think precisely we have seen in these last 10-15 days some sort of buying coming into both IT and pharma. I think pharma also, because you did get clarity on some of the US FDA issues for some of the companies. And I think that will be how it will be going ahead when inspections happen and companies are sort of given green chit somewhere, and the number of observations come down, etc. So that's a process that has been now ongoing in pharma for about the last year and a half, and hopefully this year we'll see a resolution of issues for some of the companies. And yes, I think that in a market like this, you do want some kind of a hedge against the kind of volatility that you're seeing in a whole host of other sectors, which were absolutely fancied sectors. And I think in that sense, both pharma and IT fit the bill perfectly. So I think as clarity emerges, I would expect buying to continue in both these sectors.
Right. Sumit, any view on Biocon? It's up 5% today, 4% today, sorry.
Well, Pankaj, see, Biocon has given a very good move today. I think immediately there is a possibility that we can see some more upside from present levels. The stock is quoting at around 920 to 923 levels. From present levels, there is a possibility that we can see a move till 950, 960 levels. I think overall the range for Biocon would be somewhere at around 970, 980 on higher side, and downside would be 840, 850 levels. So I think overall the Biocon would move in a range of around 100 to 150 points. Now immediately, if anyone wants to take a fresh long position in Biocon, so yes, they can initiate long position in Biocon at CMP, or if by chance there is small dip of 8 to 10 points from present levels, then that can be used as a buying opportunity for the immediate upside till 950, 970 levels. And on downside, one can maintain stop loss of around 880 or 885 levels. With a stop loss of 880 or 885, one can initiate long in Biocon.
Muthoot Finance 309, Bharat Financial is up 8%.
Well, see, Muthoot Finance, we have seen a good bounce back from lower levels, but the overall structure is still looking bearish. I think immediately there is a possibility that we might see a pullback till 320 or 325 levels. But overall, the structure is looking weak. So what I can sense looking at the chart is that in next couple of days, we will see some selling pressure at higher levels. And on downside, we will again test levels of around 270. But this time, there is a possibility that we might see levels of around 250 also. Purely for a pullback, yes, one can see levels of around 320, 325. Overall, the structure is looking weak.
Right. Sharmila, we spoke about Bharat Financial. What will be your view on Muthoot Finance, Manappuram Finance?
Yes, I did hear managements of, I think, both Manappuram as well as Equitas, not Muthoot, I don't remember. So I think about both these companies, I'm sort of okay, especially Equitas. I think, their kind of model can hold out in this kind of an environment better. That said, I think the concern, as I said, if you do see too sharp a run up also after the correction that we saw, it would be a concern. But yes, I think that to that extent, I feel that these are stocks that you can look at when you see a round of correction.
Right. And housing finance companies?
That I think would take a slightly longer time, simply because I think that realty per se is going to take a big hit. Because the kind of reports that you hear seem to suggest that the fall in prices could be almost 30%, 20-30%, in that sort of a range. So you need to see, first of all, how much prices correct in the real estate space, as well as how really the new development activity picks up, and then how the demand for the buying also returns.
Right.
So for that, I think there's a long road ahead.
Right. Sumit, any view on Diwan Housing?
Say Pankaj, purely for a trading perspective, Diwan Housing Finance is looking good. Immediately 245 is a support for the stock, and on high side the immediate resistance would be at 260. If 260 is taken away, then we can see move till 270 levels. So purely for a trading perspective, 20 to 25 points is the range for Diwan Housing Finance Limited. 245 is the support. If the support is taken away, then we can see some selling pressure in the counter, in which it can test levels of around 230 to 20. But till that time, 245 levels are not taken away, we can see upside move in HFL for the targets of around 60 and then 270 levels.
Right. Sumit, thank you so much for taking out time for us. Sharmila, always a pleasure talking to you.